休赛期很漫长，也充满了变数。
上一秒的队友，或许下一秒就变成了对手。
这是全新的开始，
我们已经迫不及待了。
2018已经是过去式，丢掉没用的念头，
留下的是经验和教训。
哭过也笑过，
闪光过也黯淡过。
换一个环境，做更好的自己。
我们养兵千日，为的不只是昙花一现。
这座山翻过去，还有下一座在远方遮住视线。
怕的不是挫败，怕的是对不起自己经历的艰辛。
养精蓄锐，等待的就是下一刻的爆发。欢迎来到 LPL， 我们重新出发。
And marking the end of another week and theoretically starting another as we move back into the Snake Pit for their 4th series for the show up here of Snake. It has been good, it has been bad. Another team to join them where it's been all good is Suning Gaming. Now you may be in the Snake Pit in Chongqing, but right here in Shanghai, this is Hysterics and this is Clement Chu, who's joining me at the desk. And I'm not sure why I'm talking in third person, but it's great to be back here to finish off this super week.
And we're here to welcome you in our traditional Chinese New Year outfits.
Yeah.
We're closing in on the end of the Ear of the Dog.
We are
moving
matching
into the Ear of the Pig.
Clement, we are matching. I'm not sure what happened, but we kind of just ended out this way. But it's good. It feels good to move towards this end of the second week. We've had some pretty interesting matchups so far. And to finish off today, I mean, it's just going to get even better. The competition so far has been a spicy one as well.
Yeah, and we still have 2 teams that are undefeated in match scores today who are going to show up in Invictus Gaming and Suning Gaming as well. So we're really seeing the super side of the bracket come up. Of course, in the LCK, the ones that are very different, they still have the Griffin and Sandbox Gaming on top. We still have a couple more new old faces here.
And remember for JD as well, they haven't played as many series. We will see them debut against Invictus Gaming, or at least debut in that certain matchup. Snake have played a couple. This will be their 4th series, as mentioned before. We go to the Chinese New Year. That'll start us off at IG and JDG. That's our match of the week.
Oh yeah, and you have to be looking forward to the 2 top laners there, the Shy and Zoom. Basically the number 1 and number 2 top laners in 2018. But of course, we are going to start up here in Chongqing in the Snake Pit.
Yeah, IG and JDG are not the only teams that have great top laners at the moment. Suning and Snake, they start off with a bang. We talk about FLICKR like we have in all seasons. But with Suning, Xiaoao still the rock for his team, and this head-to-head matchup becomes that little bit more interesting.
Xiaoao used to be the captain of the team, has been with the team since 2014, even before they were called Suning Gaming, all the way back into the LSPL days as well. And I really want to contrast the styles. He is the captain of the team, but of different very different type of play. Now, Xiaoao is your prototypical split pusher. He does not join team fights before 15 minutes. He likes to play on the Jax and the Urgot, make sure he has the biggest lead as possible in his own lane, and then control the map through splitting the enemy team members up.
And while Xiaoao is can still be that carry threat, he is a lot more versatile. FLICKR, a lot more solo kills there. Granted, they've got that extra game, but FLICKR still the rock. He's the franchise player of Snake. He has even more years than Xiaoao, and you can see why he'll take these dangerous matchups.
The big thing about FLICKR, as we saw in the stats, is that he's always looking to join the team fights. He's one of the main initiators on the team, and he's known for finding the perfect flanks straight into the enemy backline. Right there, you can see him popping off against 2 targets coming in from Sino Dragons. They didn't win the series, but FLICKR definitely did show up.
Sometimes he doesn't even take the front to back. Sometimes he just runs in head first, and He's an unkillable machine. It doesn't matter what he's on.
No surprises are needed when you're playing with FLICKR, you're playing on something like an Urgot. It's going to be a super hype matchup in the top side. Both of them kind of contrasting different styles, though. It's really about how much FLICKR can impact the map when he leaves the lane and how much Xiaoel can snowball when he's actually in the top side.
I'm curious because FLICKR seems to be having decent performances, but at the moment, Snake are just not carrying that through. With such a rich history in this organization, you got to say, all right, are we just going to keep declining? Is it going to keep going down? There's been a couple of fights for their life throughout their history in the LPL towards the back at LSPL, LDL as well against Vici Gaming. But now we want to see the better Snake, and to see that, it still feels like it's on the back of FLICKR.
Yeah, it definitely does feel that way. Snake's still kind of a slow-playing team. They don't get a lot of first towers. Their early games have been quite stagnant, and I really want to see SOFN put more emphasis on their foundational player in the FLICKR top lane. At least make sure it doesn't go completely over into the laning phase to Xiaoel. And I think a very important point to prevent that is they cannot let Xiaoel get the Renekton.
No.
Like we were talking about, this has been the pop-off pick in week 2. 7 straight wins on this champion so far, and Xiaoel already has a couple victories on it.
I was about to add to this as well. There are a couple of champions in the LPL that are very high priority right now. Renekton doesn't seem to be one of them, but that growing trend coming forward before and after Chinese New Year's, whether we still see that in 9.2, who cares? Right now, as you said, it is a 100% win rate, and even Suning, Snake, they're not the ones that have picked it up first. It was TOP. And pretty much Vici that debuted it.
And this is one of the reasons why Renekton is so powerful in the current meta. We always talk about having a strong side, and Renekton is indomitable in lane. There is no winning lane matchups against him. You can take the Fiora, you can take whatever split pusher, you can put him against Urgot. He will win you that side of the map. And even when he's not in lane, if it's about a mid-game team fight, you don't want to go up against Renekton. The dominance is just so powerful. The damage early on is very meaningful, and the extra HP basically means that he can go full awesome offensive items early on. You can't take him down, and he's going to dominate you those dragon fights.
At the moment, since the meta is so potent towards those snowballs, those 1-2 item power spikes, we see a champion like Renekton that hovers to high priority. However, on the other side as well, for Snake, FLICKR has been picking up a lot of Akali, maybe a bit of Gangplank as well. There are the carry matchups in the top side of the map, and Xiaoel, if Urgot's open, he'll just pick it up instead.
Yeah, I feel like Suning, one of their strongest points is that they have not been moved in the draft phase at all. They always pick very stock standard. You're talking about the Urgot, the Lissandra early, and just pick a lane matchup that can't scale into the late game. Their main damage dealer on the team, of course, is SMLZ, along with Sword Art protecting him, and that's just not been challenged at all. Their playstyle has fundamentally stayed the same through all 3 of their matches.
It's refreshing to see a top-sided matchup that's going to look exciting, but this is the Suning Super Team. Xiaoel, FLICKR, Maple, SMLZ, and Sword Art. Now, Xiaoel is our focus there, but Maple, SMLZ, Sword Art's all name you should know. We hop on over to Snake, FLICKR, SOFM, Mala, Asura, and Maestro.
A couple of new names right here, namely in Mala and Asura in terms of their carries. Mala has had a bit of a small champion pool. I want to see if Maple can kind of challenge him and have Mala take out something new. If we talk about the Snake game plan, it's a slow start, but they're very explosive in the mid game. They're always looking to start spontaneous team fights, and what Sino Dragons did very well against them was take away those engage options. Don't let them get the Camille, don't let them get the Galio, make sure they stay behind the entirety of the game.
Because for someone like Mala, he's very fresh to competitive play. The reason that they're not bringing Andy in is still unknown, but he's even fresher. The mid lane of Snake, it's a core for a team like Suning, having someone as experienced as Maple, but you just can't say the same about Snake.
Oh yeah, Maple had some sick plays last time when they played against Xian and WE, dodging multiple skill shots, just face-taking a lot of the plays, and I felt like Sword Art had a very good showing on his champion like Thresh as well. Recently we just had an interview with Sword Art, so he has a little bit more insights that we can impart on you guys. That's going to be coming out next week. Be looking for our first face-to-face season.
He was such a nice guy. Like, the whole of Suning, just bright smiles on their faces, and you can see already they're feeling confident at the start of the split. They are undefeated in series, and going 3-0 into Snake, who have had a bit of a rockier start, they're feeling confident once again, and we'll see how this bad phase develops towards Snake.
A lot of respect coming out from for FLICKR on the Suning draft side. 2 picks going straight into the top lane. Now, these 2 picks are not Mala picks that we know of so far. So they're putting everything onto FLICKR. They're saying, you know, even though Xiaoel is our captain, We have a lot of faith in this guy. We don't want Flandre to get something that can be a win condition on its own.
So Akali, Vladimir taken away, even the Aurelia that can possibly be flexed to the top side of the map, means that Renekton that we talked about so heavily is still open. Aatrox the final ban, but Joao has the opportunity to go towards that Urgot.
And I think it's such an easy pickup. There's not much that's very powerful in the top lane right now, and Flandre really hasn't shown the Renekton either. I don't think Renekton's necessarily the pick that they're going to look for, but Suning actually first picking away a champion that is core to Snake's identity, the engage that we were talking about. They don't want to let them have their hands on that mid-game spontaneous team fight.
This is surprising because in the LPL, Galio just doesn't have a high win rate at the moment. It's been something that has built a composition, but hasn't always been as successful. Taking it away from Snake, step 1 for Suning, but what will step 2 be? Because now, Xiaoao does not have that Urgot to lean back on.
Yeah, but we have to mention that Xiaoao has actually played a number of different carry champions into the Urgot matchup, namely the Jax. That's the one he actually does favor and does go towards in the top side. But we also have to remember for Mala that the Urgot is one of his flex champions. So far, he's only played the Galio, the Urgot, and the Zoe. So he's actually quite pinched here.
Well, moving away, however, whether Mala picks that one up, question we can ask a little bit later, the Lucian, which has just been rising in success down to Asura. Noting that the Ezreal is still open and available, but he opts in for something of a carry potential.
I really like the Lucian pickup from Snake. This is something that was a bit of a weakness in their earlier drafts, is that they just played so slow. They didn't play through their bottom side, or really through their top side for that matter. They were always picking stuff like the Kai'Sa, like the Ezreal. They wanted to stay back a little bit. But for Asura, I definitely feel like he has the carry potential to play from the early game. So I really like this Lucian pick.
Because at the moment, you kind of corner Suning in and you say, will you pick up the Brom when your Tahm Kench is open, when your Thresh is still open? Hell, we still even got an Alistar open for Sword Art. The priority down in support has been high before for Suning. They get their jungler in the Camille, but remember, still a flex. Xiao can still take that carry matchup. Time will tell, because jungler's still high and mighty, but for SMLZ, the man, the mission, he's a legend.
Yeah, you definitely need to start thinking about where your damage sources are going to lie. If you want to go into the Jax versus Urgot matchup, that doesn't come online until almost 3 items. So they definitely are looking for a bit more damage. The other option would have been the Ezreal right here, but Kai'Sa is something that SMLZ, I feel like, it personally fits his style a little bit more. They have big hyper carry, the most amount of kills that we saw in 2018. So they are going to lock in a big carry for SMLZ.
Well, especially if Sword Art is going to go on his protection duty as he always does for Suning's bottom lane. There's less question marks than maybe Snakes at this point. They lock in their jungler, and with the Sejuani buffs, we know that this champion's just been going up and up and up, and happy to take whatever blind matchup he's going into.
Yeah, I really do like the Sejuani as well. You know, we always seen the Sejuani and Braum type of matchup going into the bot lane. So easy to get kills, especially on something like the Kai'Sa that can't really run away from you early game. So I do expect that Suning will have to just spend one ban to make sure that they keep Braum out of Snake's hands.
There's already a support ban from Snake as well. Rakan. Now, a bit of insight towards Rakan at the moment. Clement and I were discussing this. He is at 86% win rate at the moment after 19 games. Rakan is 17-3 or 17-2. I'm not even sure. It's insane.
It was 17-3.
It was worth a ban. It was definitely worth a ban.
Yeah, definitely the case right here. Massive champion, and I do like the Ryze pick. So what the Ryze pick is that we've seen the Ryze be a counter pick to the Jax. So what they're doing with taking away the Ryze is making sure that even if Mala is going to take up the Urgot in the mid lane, at least they're not going to get hard countered off by picking up the Jax.
So thinking one step ahead as well.
Yes.
Xiao still has that option available because we don't know where the Camille's going just yet. Morgana, the final ban from Snake, though, when you take a look around the other side, Alistar is still available with that Galio composition. They're banning away some of these mage or maybe later engaged supports. Brom's gone as well.
Yep.
Snake think they have the pickings here to beat SN to it.
Just like we said, Braum plus Sejuani and Lucian is just too deadly of a combo earlier on. You don't want them to get the melee stacks onto the Kai'Sa, who doesn't really have that much of a good early game. So that was very much expected in the ban phase. And now Snake are presenting a front towards Suning. If you want to go with the Jax matchup against the Urgot, we can then flex the Urgot mid lane. So they're representing multiple threats right here from the Suning roster. And it's up to Suning to really decide what they want to take into the top lane. Because if they go for Jax, it very well could get countered.
Exactly right. Highlighting that could still be a potential. Also highlighting the fact that Asura will be on this Lucian, no doubt, at this point. And considering that Tahm Kench was open and available, Suning just opt in for that. But look at the front line for this Lucian.
Oh yeah, it's so damaging right now. The amount of physical damage that's going to pour into the Galio, it's going to be so hard for Suning to keep their front line alive. I really do see most of the mid-game fights going over towards Snake. They're going to have the advantage in that department. And Xiao L, not going for the Jax that has to scale, knows that he needs to be a frontliner in these mid-game team fights, so he's going to pick up the Renekton with the dominance. That's a great answer.
We set this up perfectly, Clement. What is going to be in that top lane? How good is Renekton right now? Well, the 100% win rate does not lie. Olaf is locked in. Remember, we saw Olaf top only 24, not even 24 hours ago.
Oh, so Olaf top is an interesting answer if it does actually go up there. I do believe it's still, it's most likely going to be the Olaf top lane. The thing about the Olaf top, though, is, wait a minute, is this Olaf top?
Let's find out.
We can wait until 20 seconds. But the thing about Olaf top in general is that it's a very early game focus pick. You need to focus everything down into that lane, make sure it actually wins out. Olaf, when it goes towards past 30 minutes, the mid and late game, he's such an inefficient champion.
Come on.
No tanking his stats. He needs to pick up axes constantly to keep his damage up.
All right,
they can't change.
Sejuani can be played jungle. Sejuani can be played support. And now, Sejuani can play in the top side of the map. Snake are like, this is suiting the super team. We need to throw a couple of swords their way. It is, in fact, a Sejuani top lane here, making its debut for Snake Esports.
That's super interesting. Now, we have seen a lot of Sejuani support, Sejuani jungle, but not really Sejuani top lane.
This is like some Season 6, some Season 5, Season 6 meta.
Yeah, for me, Sejuani is very much a burst type of champion. She deals one rotation, and then she kind of has to back off. But with how mobile the Renekton can be with a slice and dice, I'm not sure how this is going to work out in top lane.
And Sejuani got nerfed, so the fact that the early game you're so much squishier.
Yeah.
You're scaling based off your percentage magic resistant armor. You don't have that amazing 200 armor and magic resist at level 1.
I do want to say, however, the 3 second where you have the extra armor does counter out Renekton's trade patterns quite well, because Renekton is very much a kind of burst, get in and get out type of champion. So maybe that's what FLICKR has figured out in the meta, is that if we turn it into a sustained trade, then I can negate most of your early bursts and then still follow up with my own damage, but this is super interesting and quite risky.
I was confident about seeing the Olaf top because we saw it moments ago in the OPL on Saturday in the Oceanic region. Now back in the Chinese region, we go into game 1 with a very surprising top lane pick to kick off this series. And you have to feel hyped about this series. Even the gate that's coming in, Ashura's being caught out. This is not good. Snake first blood already lost over to the super team.
Yeah, and that was way too easy coming out from Suning right there. I don't really understand what happened, because they definitely saw the Tahm Kench walking over the ward in the river, but Asura just not able to back off fast enough. I want to see where that first blood went to, because that could impact the matchup quite heavily.
Well, I'll tell you what, not a good way to go. So it is the debut in the LPL for the top lane Sejuani. Of course, you will notice that it was Wonder who picked that up in the top side of the map, but it was a Scion matchup. It was a tankier matchup where you could take this reliably and realize that you will get through the laning phase. Up against Renekton, it's a very big deal. We just saw first blood. Let's forget about that, Clement. Let's pretend it didn't happen, even though SMLZ is probably going to make it known.
This is really bad news for the Lucian matchup and toward the bot side. You can already see the warding has been scouted out by Suning. They're pinging it out. They're saying, hey, there's a good chance that we can get a follow-up kill and snowball this even further.
It is warded out, so Hacker to clear vision first before we can move back into that lane. Asura and Maestro have to pay some respect. And nothing more than that. After clearing out that vision, we'll be able to get that Scuttle Crab as well. Hacker off to a great start too.
Really not surprising that FLICKR has to play this far back earlier on in the matchup. Renekton with the early Q, just scraping the damage onto you. He also has the Conquer instead of the press the attack, so is going to be able to deal with FLICKR quite easily. Just the Conquer passive is going to cut through her the frozen armor.
At least able to push up in that top lane wave. And you can see underneath turret, FLICKR not going to have the greatest time, as you can't really CS that well at level 2. Probably has to use a Q just into the minion wave to even things out. Hacker can even move up here. Turret dive at level 4 and 5, even towards that 6 mark. Colonel says Snake. We're not sure at the moment after that first blood. The Colonel probably going to have to go back to KFC.
It's a great start coming out from Hacker, getting both scuttles. He's going to have full control for all of his lanes, and his bot lane is going to win naturally by its own. You already see the Kai'Sa walking out with a longsword. That really flips the matchup earlier on. They're not going to have the auto win lane from the Lucian on Snake's part.
Yeah, able to walk that matchup out means that at this point, a Kai'Sa who's in a comfortable position is just fantastic. As you said, Clement, Hacker doesn't need to be anywhere near bot. He can clear out the rest of his camps, maybe even look towards that top side, towards mid. Calm game for Suning now. Up to Snake to disrupt the flow.
Now, definitely the case right here. Of course, they do have some winning matchups across the map. I would say Urgot versus the Galio. It's quite an easy matchup for the Urgot. Not a lot of things the Galio can do to you with his magical shield. So I do expect Mon to play a big role here, try to push in the wave and invade with the Olaf. Olaf, just in terms of 1v1, definitely the strongest champion overall. If he gets item parity and just goes in and tries to find Hacker, that should be a winning matchup for the Snake squad.
And now with Dragon spawning at 5 minutes, Olaf has an easy in. He can get that first strike and might be able to find his first kill. Just a punch onto SOFM. Picks up the undertow, throws another one, but the trade favoring the mid laner of Suning.
Yeah, I really like what Maple did right there. Fronting that Camille was right around the corner. SOFM, of course, doesn't have vision. Has to back off from that.
Even getting invaded in now. SOFM, great heads-up play. He's got a level onto Hacker. Is at half health, but remember, for an Olaf, that means nothing. Heals back up with a smite. Hacker still taking the fight. Little bit late now. Very mismatched in the 2v1.
Yeah, that was horrible communication coming in from Hacker. I'm not sure why he stays so long for the fight. They definitely had eyes on Mala just walking over there. That was not a fight that he could have won just straight on. And you have to remember, SOFM also got a level lead during that Raptor camp.
But also for SOFM, the confidence to walk forward there was very well appreciated by viewers and by myself. At the 5-minute mark, evening out that kill and slowing down the jungle pace of Hacker. Now for SOFM on an Olaf, remember, that Mountain Drake looks even better. He was even able to dodge out some of the vision and drop some himself.
Yeah, and we have to remember, SOFM is the dandy of the LPL. He's the Prince of Thieves right here, coming from Vietnam. He had the most buff steals of any jungler in 2018, and he's off to a great start, just like we were talking about the mid lane matchup.
He doesn't stop there, Clement. Maestro, Ignite down, one more hit here needed. Maestro, here it goes, it catches in rain. Ignite doesn't tick over. The Mukau lives, but Suning force summoners.
Great flash coming out from Maestro right there. I kind of felt like Sora could have used an auto attack to secure that kill, but he wanted to get the stun down with the 3 stacks on the acquired taste. But great flash coming out from Maestro to avoid that kill.
See what the impact is. Teleport now used mid. Justice punch away. Maple does get hit, but again, doesn't really matter. Applying pressure from this mid lane is all SOFM can do, considering what we just saw bot.
And I really like what Snake are doing right here. They're moving as a 2-man hit squad. The 2 strongest points on the map for them. They're going to try to keep the Galio down and try to influence these side lanes. Remember, the side lanes are not going well for Snake. Top lane, they're losing by 15 CS. Bottom lane was a disaster from level 1. And they really need to get back into the game just with the 2-man hit squad.
And the one good thing here for Snake is they're able to secure the Scuttle Crab because Zhao doesn't want to move out and give away some of that pressure, putting Flandre back into the lane. But SOFM now invading into the jungle. There is nothing Zhao can do. The only difference is there's just the Gromp standing there and nothing more for him to take.
Already a 2-level advantage on SOFM.
Yeah.
You look at the CS, 20 CS lead as well. A really questionable play from Hacker earlier on, but great attention to where he needs to pressure from SOFM.
And now enables him up into the top side of the map. SOFM has Ragnarok, but no way to use it here just yet. Flandre will be able to push out this wave, probably back again, but there's no teleport, so he needs to make sure this reset's perfect.
I really like the item build coming out from Shal-El right there. Knows that the enemy jungle is ahead, is already on level 6, so he goes with the CC reduction coming out with the Mercury Treads. Just wants to make sure that he can keep his early game lead advantage alive in this lane. And they probably do need to wait for a mid-game team fight for this composition to really start working out, because the laning phase does not look like it's going to go great for Suning with how far an advantage that SOFM has.
At least there's resistance, though, from Snake's jungler Clement. SOFM has clawed this one back nicely. Let's add Marla into the mix, because it wasn't just a one-man effort. Please tell me that will go down. Okay. Marlon does secure it at the very end. Meanwhile, FLICKR looking for something down in the bottom lane. Has caught up one level, but does not have the Hextech ultimatum.
All right, let's see if he actually starts hitting this ward. Does want to go for the gank instead. No flash on Maestro, so this could be a potential gank.
SOFM won't be able to get here in time. Does have Predator on the boots, back up and available, as well as the Ragnarok, but gank's not even going to come through. FLICKR says no, and nor does he need to right now. 20 CS in this bottom lane. SMLZ can keep pushing up, and if SOFM, excuse me, comes down to the bottom lane, nothing goes as it seems.
Definitely the case here, and looking overall with these compositions, I would still say I feel like Suning is the one, I'm sorry, it's not, Snake is the one that does need to push the tempo a little bit just because of the difference in the jungler and I would say the AD carry as well.
You asked for it, Clement. Here's the tempo from SOFM. Xiao, you need to get out of there. Predator
Sees
now
it.
above his head, dodges away. Classic Sejuani ultimate, but Xiao doesn't take the second undertow. SOFM being cheeky under the turret. Again, we just see ourselves in the bottom lane. Sword Art shouldn't die here, but hang on! Even through the grey health, full culling onto the Tahm Kench, the bottom lane, back in action.
Yeah, finally getting a return kill right there. It was a good ignite to cut down on most of the healing, the potential healing coming out from Sword Art right there, and they get the full combo. Really well done by the bot lane. And they're looking for more on Snake.
Maple is a level behind of Marlow. They're just invading, taking the blue buff. Snake proactive once again. Even Flandre's joined in. The flash forward to Xiao. Hextech ultimatum will get a two-man taunt. In comes Tahm Kench. Suning turning this around so easily. Flash forward from Xiao. He's like, I can't stun him. FLICKR leaves him too, and Flandre's left running. 2-for-1 trade, perfect for Suning.
Yeah, and they finally get back on the map. You always forget about the Abyssal Voyage. Sword Art just died, but knew that the play could still continue.
SOFM does not have Ragnarok. It wasn't a 2-for-1 before, but maybe now with the flash forward. SOFM getting low though. The beauty of Olaf, only Ignite to take him down. Now we see the 2-for-2.
No extra resistance is coming in from FLICKR right there, from the hero's entrance going down, so cannot be saved in that exchange, and he does trade his life back down. That was 2 kills on SOFM, so still a worthwhile trade.
This game has been so back and forth.
Absolutely crazy.
If you wanted action, you know all these people go, oh, we'll go watch Korea. Why? At this point, no, don't get me wrong.
No, that's a great statement.
I love all League of Legends, but
if you like action, you watch the LPL.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. This is where you belong. See it in the bottom lane, the mid lane, jungle, top lane as well. And we'll take a look back, Clement.
All right. We have to start with this fight, but after this, we're going to look at SOFM's item builds right here. This is the fight where they just forgot about what Sword Art could accomplish. He flies right in and makes it a 4v3 scenario. You know, Olaf does a cheeky play, can't be stunned, gets away from the situation, but I think this is just Snake just forgetting about what the Tahm Kench can actually do. SOFM goes low, but with the Berserk, he actually gains extra attack speed. So 2 attack speed, 2 auto attacks for 1 against FLICKR in that last exchange, and he manages to get away with the kill.
So Clement, I'll explain this because I know a little bit about, at the moment we are seeing redemption rushes after getting the skirmishes played. Before upgrading towards the Cinderhulk or the Warrior Enchant, whatever you want to go for. Redemption Rush Olaf is now a standard thing that I've seen in 3 different regions.
Oh boy. Oh boy. It's an interesting type of item. Of course you do get like the redemption is quite impactful earlier on just with the HP stun. And I believe it's also the fact that you do get a little bit of HP with it and a bit of mana regen as well.
Are you thinking of, yeah, I think so. Unless otherwise it's ARAM that you get both of those is what you're thinking of, but no, exactly right. That's sustainability through the jungle too. SOFM still can take these trades with the red buff. FLICKR, a 1v1 doesn't favor him anymore. Even getting the undertow back, we don't care because we're looking at the bottom lane. Suning's bottom lane getting crashed on, and SOFM, they're going to collapse onto FLICKR. He has no one else to go. He is dead, even with the Hextech ultimatum. 4 members collapse in, and Snake are back on the board.
And this is the Snake that we've been waiting to see. An early game focused Snake that is not afraid to use their picks to their advantage. They're going to chase you across the map. And this is one of those games where we actually haven't seen Flandre make any plays from the top side, but Snake still able to make it work.
On that note as well, Flandre has just picked up a Haunting Guise. So
he's got AP.
Yeah, we got AP Sejuani now. Would like to remember what Wonder actually picked up in that matchup, but it was a very different one at that. Trying to take Xiao head on. And Xiao, even though he's 30 CS up in that top lane, doesn't really matter at the moment, because Flandre, think about who's ult versus who's ult. Unless Xiao's more impactful in these fights, which arguably he could be. Well, I guess we'll just have to wait and see.
all Flandre really needs to be is just a team fight initiator for his team. The rest of his team has enough damage for him to basically stay in his lane and just wait for the team fights. As long as Xiao doesn't run away with the tower, I feel like Snake are very happy with the matchup.
And as long as that redemption comes into play in the next fight, which it will. Very exciting thing to see. This is a teleport just to force the turret. Nice
like
bit of juicy gold here for Suning.
Yeah, it's quite a clever play. I wish we see this play happening more often. They found a great opportunity in terms of their mid lane. The waves were very far apart, and they just teleport for 160 extra gold. I feel like more mid laners should be doing that.
But now they need to make sure they get out Clement, because Maple's in the back line, knocked up is one. For Snake, this is the perfect fight. The Redemption Ola comes into work. Sword Art around the corner, now runs for his life.
Oh, he gets it!
Fear beyond death. Oh, it's the Chinese sniper in Marla who just takes down one.
Oh, Mala from downtown. Can Hacker actually find anything?
This is what the Renekton was built for. Xiao Al and Hacker going back in. The ult lands perfectly. Hacker doesn't hit him underneath turret though, so survive. With the sweep here, Marla doesn't have the ulti, but he's slowed down. Xiao Al helps your jungler. The Urgot, the ugly crab-looking monster, is now taking on the 2v1. But Xiao Al, Renekton's massive, gets one, wants to get the other. Slowed down. Xiao Al, the franchise player of Suning, as Marla goes gold. It's not gonna matter. There's blood all over Summoner's Rift. SMLZ gets a kill, Xiao Al gets another, and everything goes Suning's way.
Suning get a double kill within the same 30 seconds to negate all the advantages that Snake just threw at them. Mala played great in the bot side. I thought the top side was going to work out for them, but let's catch what happened. SMLZ stays alive. He's only one auto attack away. Has the heal bait.
With the perfectly timed heal, Clement.
Oh. That looked like it was going so well for Snake, but in a blink of an eye, Suning has suddenly reversed everything. They get the tower and evade the comeback kill.
Abyssal Voyage out from Sword Art. SMLZ does not get traded off. SOFM was coming back down, but let's recap a little bit for you out there. If you've just joined in, rewind about 30 seconds. That's all you need here. It's a 1k gold lead over to SMLZ, who has a huge bounty on his head, but in the top side of the map, 1,500. We're ignoring jungle right now because SOFM's advantage over Hacker doesn't matter anymore.
It definitely does not matter as much as it used to do, and we're looking at a Lucian that lost the bot lane first, so the pick not really working out, and then it's going to be Kai'Sa's strong point later on into the map. Renekton's also free to start roaming around. The CS lead, the kill lead should be enough for Xiao El to be the first one joining these team fights.
Because remember, moments ago, Clement, we were talking up the Lucian, we were talking up the whole of Snake because their front line was coming online.
Yeah.
And Ashura had a couple of kills with Blade of the Ruined King. That's all they needed, that front line to move into the mid game and Lucian to start popping out damage. Now SMLZ has that damage. Now Maple has stabilized things in the mid lane. And now in the top side of the map, that Renekton, which we're saying is 7-0, is setting himself up nicely. But SMLZ engaged on against Sword Art is the savior. He's such a nice guy, even off the rift. Sword Art now dropped back down. Grey helps Hero's entrance. Will find one knockup, but no more. With a two-man taunt, only exists one in the end. Maestro drops down, a 1-for-1 trade of support.
And you can see that both mid laners are moving towards the top side. So Suning managed to defend this quite successfully. There's nothing lost even in their mid lane either. And honestly, that was a fine trade coming in for Suning. They got a kill onto SMLZ. They denied a potential tower take coming in from Snake. So overall, I feel like Suning actually came away with that play just a little bit.
Well, Suning even getting trades at this point. You're right, Clement. Even getting trades.
This is
Hacker.
cheeky.
No, we'll just leave it. But SMLZ getting kills versus someone like Ashura, someone like Marla, even someone like SOFM. The trade-off is so much better here for Suning. Now, as we talked about in the early game, just to divert your attention, it was a Mountain Drake that kicked us off. There is another one coming up for Snake.
This is a very patient play from Hacker.
He's still here.
He didn't want to disrupt the back timing because he wanted Lucian to be back in lane just to kill him.
He is almost, he's like 50 CS down, and he is falling out even more.
He's like, CS doesn't matter.
He's still here.
We should time this. It's been 16:30 since he started
I feel like, yeah. It's almost been. There's a flash finally onto Ashura. We've been waiting so long. Hacker just gets bobbed out. No kill just yet for Suning, which is bad news. Sword Art knocked back again. Will it be his 4th death of the game? Sword Art survives because Marla is coming in, but so is the mid laner. It's Maple right onto the Urgot. Xiao Al with the stun down. big bad Crocodile takes down the Korean man in the mid lane, and Snake are running for their lives.
And can they actually get away? Next stun from Hacker is up. Oh, but doesn't land it.
Culling into the jungler, blocked away by Maple and Sword Art. Suning is a 5-man unit start on this turret, but Snake are eager to start up this fight.
It's a great tower trade. I don't think FLICKR with his ultimate in the backside can actually influence anything here. So overall, still a winning trade for Suning Gaming. They started out with the Hacker trade. Did look like it would work out, but they had Renekton, Xiaoao from the bottom lane to come up and really finish that mid-game play.
And Clement at this point as well, FLICKR couldn't join, had no teleport. Nope. Missed-time teleports, Xiaoao and FLICKR on completely different clocks here. And Xiaoao coming into the fight makes it perfect. Even the Rift Herald was started up, but then backed away from. And Suning, even though they do have map control at the moment, even though they do have that 2k gold lead, is not fully taking advantage of it just yet. We'll have another look at this.
This play looked like it could have gone so well for Snake. They destroyed the Hextech ultimatum earlier on coming in from Suning. They almost get the Axe chased down. Good slow from Sword Art to prevent that from actually happening. And then Mala oversteps his boundaries. Forgets about the teleport coming in from the bot side.
Yeah, on the live feed as well, just for an update, we saw Rift Herald go down. That was over to Snake. Hopefully they can break over the mid lane turret, because Suning haven't done exactly that just yet. They're dealing with a heavy Crocodile in the bottom lane.
And I like their positioning on the map. They know that Xiao can't really reach the mid lane in time, so they do have to force Suning to back off, and they're going to get a lot more vision for this next up-and-coming Mountain Drake.
Which could be given up. No, never mind. With the Scuttle Crab as well. Snake might be able to retain that for a congestion. Now falling even further behind. I want to point out that Hacker is still about 40-45 CS behind on this Camille. There's a lot of time wasted up top for not too much of a payback.
And this is one of those games where we might actually see the Olaf jungle still be quite valuable later on.
We might actually see FLICKR onto Hacker, who's taking the 1v1. Not a good trade here. Fear Beyond Death will get one fear onto Xiaoao. Redemption comes back down as well. That trade not great for Suning. They'll just head on back, and Snake might be able to contest.
Yeah, and it feels like Hacker was caught sleeping right there, just going way too over-aggressive, trying to contest the ward spot with FLICKR.
SMLZ is very ambitious walking up to this wave. Maple and Xiaoao coming in from the other entrance, but Rift Herald going down, having to inner track on mid. Snake use that break open, that outer turret, catch up on a bit of that gold lead, and are heading for that dragon.
Sunni are lucky that they can get all members out from the right side. They were caught off of a position where Xiaoao actually gave up his life in that rush. That's actually a very, very heavy cost to pay for that. Just a bit of a miscommunication on that end, and a very good return kill coming in from Snake, especially onto FLICKR, just recognizing that his team could follow up sooner. Throws out the Glacial Prison.
See why this top lane pick has kind of jumped on our screens here today.
That's such a good play coming out from Sunni.
Yeah.
Just goes towards the top side, straight up turret take. We've seen two of these global plays come out from Sunni. The teleport from the mid lane of Maple toward the bot side just to get the turret plating, and then another Abyssal Voyage, getting those incremental advantages even though they were losing out on the map.
Accelerating this game even further for a player like Xiaoao, and for now someone like SMLZ who's 4-0-1. 2 items on this Kaiser. I mean, he's pretty much tracking with Ashura at this point. And Colonel, yeah, look, he's a bit frisky about this one, but he has every right to be. Snake are not out of the woods just yet, nor are they in the woods. I don't even know where the forest is.
This has to be one of the most exciting games that we've seen so far in this split. You can see the Colonel's confused himself. He already has 3 turnarounds where he's can't make up his mind on who's actually going to come out ahead.
GPS not working. Where is that KFC? Where's that franchise store going? I tell you what, if I was the Colonel right now, I'd be saying that this game could flip over Baron. It's 21 minutes in the game. Yep. There's vision from both sides here and still trying to contest around that area. But look at the bottom side of the map. SOFM is breaching into the enemy jungle, still pushing forward with that early jungle lead he obtained.
I think this is the type of match where one team fight can swing it super heavily back to Snake, because those bounty gold are really stacking up on the Suning carries. There's 2,000 gold right there to be taken away. So even though it's a 4K deficit for Snake, 1-1 team fight, and I think they're going to be very, very far back in the lead.
So who starts the fight up? Because Hacker, he has been pretty much the initiator, whether he wants to or not, but 1-4 and 5, not convincing me just yet that this is going to be the game that we quote from him. And Suning the super team. Still, they've got all the tools to do so. So many ultimates up and available. In fact, if you know perfect math, you would say that all 10 ultimates are up and available here in this game 1.
It's going to be a very explosive next couple of minutes here for both teams. FLICKR still has a teleport lead. He could use that. And I honestly feel like Suning are playing this quite smart. They're playing very, very conservatively. They're saying that their AD carry should not go past the river. They're not giving Snake any chances. And they just want to make sure that Kai'Sa has even more of a lead over the Lucian pick.
Because it's going to be 3rd item soon for Kai'Sa as well. That lead is simple to obtain for SMLZ. He continues to farm up for the next 10-15 minutes. You're not going to see too much of him unless there's that fight. And keeping track with the Lucian farming as well. So Asura has a big task ahead of him in this next fight, but 2-item Lucian versus 2-item Kai'Sa, arguably at this point with the lineup on Suning, it's going to be very easy for Asura to get in.
The big question for Snake here is, can they take what their compositional advantage should be and really just force a Baron play out of Suning? If they can get them in the one big team fight, they can make sure that they can take the game under their own control before SMLZ really comes online. SLFM is still going to be a massive factor in these 5v5 team fights right now. He has the chase down potential, just stick down to SMLZ and kind of take him out of the picture. So I do think Snake, even with the gold deficit, they have to be balled right now. They have to try and take control of the Baron.
Because if they get that Baron, if they're onto it, the smite difference is there. It's 1 level for SOFM, so he has the advantage to play with. And Snake's jungler has been playing with that advantage all game long. It's been 1 to 2 level difference this whole game. Hacker's been behind, and now with that advantage, they're heading towards the Baron. They'll clear out the vision, and most likely, nope, not start it just yet.
This is absolutely the correct macro play. Even though you are behind in gold, things are not going to get better later on. You're much better trying to look for a confrontation right here and right now, but Suning are not taking the bait yet.
No, yes they are. It's Hacker into the backside. This is going to be a 3-4-man knockup for Galio. Not great in the LPL, but now showcasing massively. Zhao free hitting along with SMLZ. A 1-for-1 trade, working out, getting the top laner of Suning. The chase continues. Suning want to continue the fight, but Snake have already pulled away.
Yeah, it was a favorable trade in terms of kills for Snake, but their key ultimates were already expended. They could not stick to SMLZ in the backline, and they decide that they need to back off in this fight. What Snake are looking for is for their frontline champions like the Olaf and the Urgot to stick onto Kai'Sa. But Suning, forcing the fight into a choke point, made sure that SMLZ could actually stay safe throughout that entire sequence. And even though they traded frontline for a support, they know that they have enough fuel in the gas tank to finish up the fight as well. So Snake actually have to back off there.
If that happens again as well, after the Renance picked up after that fight from SMLZ, it's going to go very differently, but we'll see how this one went.
Yeah, I think the key difference right here, even though it was a questionable start from Hacker, is that most of the ultimates actually were expended on Snake. They can't really touch SMLZ. SMLZ is allowed to free hit throughout the majority of the fight. If they just push forward, Snake don't really have enough gas to take him out, and they actually back off themselves.
And FLICKR only just survived that fight as well. If he went down, could have been so much more, but Snake start the Baron anyway. This is risky.
Suning are out of position, however. Kai'Sa is still very far away from the fight.
X-Flash not going to connect from Maestro. Maple in on the back end. 4-man taunt. Where's the engage from Suning? Maple has gone golden. Sword Art is here. Devours him up, but in comes Kai'Sa. Watch SMLZ. Marla's already got the pick on Sword Art, but SMLZ has traded off. Zhao moving to the front line. Maestro runs away, but for Snake, they disengage the fight. There's a lot of damage from the Leandri's Torment on FLICKR, but now for Baron, everything just stands still.
Yeah, and Suning are allowed to scale further into the game. That was a great Zhonya's on the back end from Shalal to dodge out on the Glacial Prison coming in from FLICKR, and they're able to make sure that they keep Snake off of the Baron, keep their scaling advantage intact.
You know what I like about these fights, Clement? Snake is coming into it confident, but FLICKR is landing these ultimates and saying howdly-doodly. Like, this is the perfect Flanders that we wanted to see in the game, and sure, he's not on the carry, but he's on something that maybe Suning didn't see coming.
Yeah, that was a good attempt coming in from the Snake roster. They knew that Suning were out of position. They needed to take Baron right then and right there, but they didn't get the initial catch onto Maple. I think that's what kind of skewed the play a little bit. Maple was able to dodge out on Maestro's engage and then go back with the 4-man taunt to really drag it out so all of the members of Suning could actually attend the Baron fight, and that was kind of the big difference maker.
But you have to rinse and repeat for that fight for Snake. And the difference maker in the next fight could simply be that ult landing and that ult disappearing, and for Maestro not getting the same engage. Now, if you're wondering what the hell I'm saying, I'll explain it to you. Every ultimate counts. Every knockup and bit of CC needs to land from Snake. SMLZ has not been touched in these fights, and he's always the defining factor. 5-0-2, we continue to highlight his score because he's almost onto his 4th item, and every single fight, he picks up half of the components, the next fight comes around, and he's finished his item.
And the next item on the line is going to be the Infinity Edge. The amount of damage that's going to be start pouring from the Kai'Sa is going to be a death sentence for Snake. They really do need to find purchase before all of this goes south for them. The problem right now is they're so far behind in terms of the gold lead, and the game has gone scaled far enough that I don't feel like they're confident enough to take a straight-on 5v5 fight. They're not willing to just ram their front lines into Sunings.
Because they can't get past Xiao, they cannot get past Maple. And SMLZ knows that. Even Sword Art on protected duty. Hacker is just playing Disruptor in these fights, and so he should be. Whereas SOFM, he has to get in. He has to make a difference in these fights. It's one jungler to another. It's one position to another. And the difference here, even though SOFM still has that massive gold advantage and that massive lead in the jungle, is not going to matter if Suning are untouchable.
At this point, I don't even think Olaf has the, he hasn't scaled up that much in terms of his own damage compared to SMLZ in terms of the natural HP and the natural armor that he's going to get from his level advantages. So at this point, Olaf no longer has the solo kind of carry potential in the team fight where he goes in and just takes down SMLZ, and Suning are looking to convert.
Yeah, they definitely know this. They know they're comfortable in this pit, but Baron's going down so quickly. Can they get here in time? They cannot. Secured by Hacker. Now the fight. Maestro gets right in, but Sword Art, Hacker, they all live. From front to back, it begins again. Hacker onto the back line. GA popped down, but look at Xiao Ao. He lives. GA popped again. SMLZ jumps right in. Marla lands the Fear Beyond Death, but he's not going to be able to pop it off, and everyone's in. SMLZ to the backside, just lands perfectly from triple to quadra, add himself into the mix. It's Suning with the ace.
A little bit unfortunate he wasn't able to find the first penta of the LPL spring split, but what a massive team fight coming out from Suning right there. It looked very dicey to start it off, but everyone on Suning knew what their roles should have been. Hacker flew straight onto Asura, took him out of the team fight. They knew they had the first damage to take down Maestro in the front line. They take the cow down, and SMLZ, once again, like you said, untouched for the entirety of the fight. He goes down with 1,000 bounty gold.
9-0-3, he dives the fountain at the last moment. And boy, did it look good for Suning towards those later fights. Snake definitely showed signs of improvement if we want to talk about their previous games, their previous matchups. This is the Snake that challenged and drove EDG into a corner. But now against Suning, a very different team. Suning called the super team for a big reason.
It was so close coming out from Snake. They actually had the early game in control at one point. If you look at the gold graph around the 12-minute mark, that's really when things started to shift more towards Suning's side. When Suning got back-to-back double kills on both sides of the map and were able to wrestle the early game control back into their own favor.
I'm proud of Suning. That's what I'm going to say going into game 2. I'm proud that Suning are keeping up this consistency. For someone like SMLZ, we talked about him each and every week. We wanted to focus on the top lanes coming into this matchup. I have to say, it didn't really disappoint.
Yeah, you definitely did not. And I really like the mid-game composition from Snake. Something new, something different. A lot of changes in terms of the top side. Yep. Unfortunately, just player-to-player wise, I felt like Suning were able to outplay in a few of the skirmishes. And that's really what led Suning to come back in the game, make sure that their Kai'Sa was able to scale towards the later game. And of course, for this game, we have another win on Renekton. 8-0.
8-0 in the LPL. Renekton is flawless, undefeated in that top lane. We finally saw our debut of the Sejuani top with Flandre. I have to say that wasn't as, I guess, just because it's done in EU doesn't mean it's going to be perfect in the LPL, but it was impactful. However, I still would have rather seen Flandre's Akali, which wasn't up and available, still see that carry matchup instead.
Yeah, of course, most of it was banned away from Suning. Very smart ban taking out Flandre from the entirety of the map, but I really like the flavor coming out from Snake, taking it to you in the early game, being not afraid, willing to play frontline to frontline team fights. This is a massive improvement.
SOFM got ahead early. Let's see if he can do it ahead in Game 2 and maybe make more of a difference. Game 2 of Suning and Snake coming up right after this.